over on the Game Informer community Discord, we still have that All Things Nintendo channel. I got the following from jherb24. Hey, Brian, thanks as always for continuing to do the pod. Great content. Thank you so much. I've been making my way through Mario Wonder and loving it, but I'm thinking, where does 2D Mario go next? Do we think we get another Lost Levels-esque hyper difficult expansion pack? Also, are we confident the next 3D Mario is Odyssey 2? Seems like Nintendo is into surprising us at this point. Thanks. All right, so let's start at the top here. Where does 2D Mario go next? I mean, this is a tough one because I've been like, up until Mario Wonder's announcement, I was thinking that 2D Mario was going to be the less experimental part of the Mario franchise, right? Like, look at how Nintendo has done since 2004, really. So after Super Mario Sunshine, we got in the 3D side, we got Mario Galaxy, we got Super Mario 3D World, we got Super Mario 3D Land, and we got Mario Galaxy 2, and then we got Super Mario 3D World and 3D Land came after Mario Galaxy 2 because those were Wii U and 3DS. But then we got Odyssey, right? So those are all super creative games. I mean, Mario Galaxy 2 might be, and Mario 3D World. Well, Mario 3D World was super interesting as well. And then we also got Bowser's Fury on the Switch. But Mario Galaxy 2 might be the least creative out of those, but still, that's pretty creative. And the only reason it's not super creative is because it is a direct sequel that borrows so many of the gimmicks from the first Mario Galaxy, but they still expanded on them in so many different ways. Then on the 2D side, we got New Super Mario Brothers, New Super Mario Brothers Wii, New Super Mario Brothers U, New Super Mario Brothers 2, and that was really it. It felt really stagnant, right? Like New Super Mario Brothers Wii and New Super Mario Brothers U really felt like almost like remakes, right, of the same game. Like even the UI is almost indistinguishable from each other. And yeah, we got New Super Luigi U, which is one of the better 2D, one of the best 2D content drops that we got on the New Super Mario Brothers franchise, and I really enjoyed that DLC. But I mean, Mario Maker was probably the best innovation that we got on the 2D side. So I was like, okay, well, they've kind of tapped out on innovating in this space outside of like new power-ups and everything. They're kind of just playing on these past glories, which is even what Mario Maker was, right? It was giving us a tool set using the old Mario formats, right? You can go in, you can play Mario World levels that are created by the community, or same thing with Mario 3 and all the different Mario games, still relying heavily on the nostalgia aspect. Super Mario Brothers Wonder, and as much as I enjoyed the new Super Mario Brothers games, Super Mario Brothers Wonder was the first time that I really felt like this was not just fully playing on nostalgia, right? Of course, there's going to be some nostalgic element to it, and it's because 2D Mario games are nostalgic by default because it's the gameplay that so many of us grew up loving. It plays off of the foundation that was laid. I mean, I guess primarily in Super Mario Brothers, the original Super Mario Brothers, but I would say it's closest to Super Mario World in terms of its pedigree because it does so many different things with the level designs, and the level conventions veer closer to Super Mario World than the original Super Mario Brothers. But it's that format, that original NES SNES format that any 2D Mario game is going to use. It even has like the overworld that you can the map that you can run around on. But where does it go from there? I mean, Takashi Tezuka and Shiro Mori, they both told me that they were thousands of ideas that they had for wonder effects. When I was writing the Mario Wonder cover story, they said there were thousands of ideas, and there was no way they could use all of them. They cut them down to the set that we got in Super Mario Brothers Wonder. But I've got to feel like there were some other gems that we just did not get. And maybe it's kind of like a Tears of the Kingdom situation where, they released Breath of the Wild, and then as Hidemaru Fujibayashi told me, he went back and he was like, oh, I wonder if we could do this with this gameplay and physics engine. And, he ended up building the tank that, he put wheels on a slab of concrete and started driving around like a car. And then he put 4 planks together and put one of the bombs in there, and then put a cannonball in there and created a cannon basically. And, that was the advent of Tears of the Kingdom, was like, oh, what if we allowed players to build their own vehicles? I think that there's a chance on the 2D side that Tezuka, Mori, and the rest of the team, maybe once they released Mario Wonder and they started seeing fan reception, and they got deeper into the playtesting, I would not be surprised if they came up with some other cool ideas. So I think it's entirely possible, if not likely, that we get a Mario Wonder 2, or maybe like a Mario Wonder Deluxe on Switch 2, which could give us, you know, additional levels or additional wonder effects or something like that, right? Like just additional content overall is where I think we could go with Mario Wonder and the 2D side next. Um, I would love to see a Mario Maker 2 or a Mario Maker 3, excuse me. I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think we're going to get Mario Maker 3 for a long while. And it's unfortunate because I love it. But as I covered before, I want to say 2 weeks ago, it just didn't sell well. Mario Maker 2 did not create the buzz that the first Mario Maker did on Wii U, despite selling better than the Wii U, but relative to other Switch titles, it did not sell as well. So I don't think Mario Maker 3 would be where the 2D Mario goes next. I don't think we're going to get another new Super Mario Brothers game for a while. I feel like that would almost feel stale when compared to Mario Wonder in 2025 or 2026 or whenever the next Mario game comes out. I honestly think it's going to be Super Mario Brothers Wonder Deluxe, and we're going to get it on Switch 2 pretty early on in the life cycle. It's going to have new levels. It's going to have one of the main criticisms of not being able to play online co-op. There's competitive online, but not true online co-op. And yeah, just new challenges, new stuff along those lines. If not, maybe a full new Mario Wonder game. But I would be surprised they don't try to capitalize on some enhanced version of Mario Wonder, or at least another crack at it in Mario Wonder 2. But outside of that, your guess is as good as mine of like in terms of like what new innovations, because I would have never seen something like Super Mario Brothers Wonder. And if you're watching the video version, you keep seeing me look up because I'm looking at the cover that I have framed of Elephant Mario on my wall. And I don't know. Maybe you're right. Maybe J Herb is right, and that we do get kind of a Lost Levels esque difficult expansion pack. But I don't know if it would necessarily be hyper difficult, because Super Mario Brothers Wonder was not that difficult until you got to the very end of the bonus content, right? The end game content was really the only part of that game that I truly struggled with. I didn't even have any problems with the boss. It was one of the easier 2D Mario games up until that very end stuff. The last two levels were the only two levels that I really was like banging my head up against a wall on. So maybe we do get something new with Mario Wonder. Then to J Herb's second question here, are we confident the next 3D Mario is Odyssey 2? Seems like Nintendo is into surprising us at this point. No, we're not confident that it's Odyssey 2, but I'm leaning in that direction. I think that it's kind of the same reasoning that I have for Mario Wonder 2 or Mario Wonder Deluxe. That game was so tailor-made for DLC. If you look at it, having the ability to they could have added kingdoms as DLC, and they didn't. And that would have been such an easy win for them to add like Isle Delfino or just all new kingdoms. Instead, we just didn't get any of it. And we got Luigi's like hide and seek, and like that was fun, but it wasn't the meaningful content I think everybody wanted. And to that end, my theory is that Nintendo did have those ideas, and they looked at them and said, these are so good, they should be their own game. And then it got into development. And, like I've pointed out in the past, Super Mario Odyssey came out the same year as Breath of the Wild. And yet we got a direct Zelda sequel prior to getting a direct sequel to Mario Odyssey. Yes, I know that they used the same Hyrule, but they also had to, craft a whole new story for Tears of the Kingdom. They crafted all the Sky Islands. They crafted the depths, which, you could have criticisms about how fleshed out the depths really are. But they had to come up with all the new shrine puzzles, the new dungeons. That should seemingly take longer than a new 3D Mario game. So, as I pointed out with Camille on the Nintendo Direct episode, I think that Mario Odyssey 2 is going to be a launch title for Switch 2. That's my prediction. That's not based on any kind of inside information that I have. That is just a prediction. I think that Nintendo, what happened in 2017 was they saw the success of Mario Odyssey. They were going to put out DLC because that looks like it was the surefire way to expand that experience, keep people coming back for more. When they realized they had great ideas that could be expanded into a full game, they said, well, let's make it a full game and put out Luigi's Hide and Seek or Balloon Hunt or whatever it's called to satisfy people and keep them coming back while developing these additional ideas that we had into a new game. Then development happened, and instead of being like, oh, we're going to rush this out for Switch, they probably said, we need a big title for the Switch 2 launch. And that is what they're going to do. They're going to hold off announcing it until they announce the Switch 2. And they'll be like, oh, by the way, Super Mario Odyssey 2 is going to be a Switch 2 launch title. What synergy would that be? Like that has 2 in the name for both of them. It starts the console generation off with a bang, just the same way that Breath of the Wild did with Switch. And, Nintendo, I think at this point, they said that the next Switch is going to be Switch Next Model, as President Furukawa said on the investor call. And I think that they learned their lesson. They need to have a really strong title from one of their heavy hitting franchises at launch. And they're not going to have a new 3D Zelda game. They're not going to have a new 2D Zelda game because that's going to be one of the final big games for Switch 1. So what does that leave them with? It leaves them with Super Mario Brothers, and we just got a 2D Mario game, so a 3D Mario game is as big as it gets for Nintendo, and that's why I think that is going to be the next 3D Mario game. We've also seen that as a pattern, right? Like I pointed out, for 3D Mario games in particular, they come in sets of 2s for the most part, right? So we got Mario 64. And yes, we never got a true sequel to that, but they announced Mario 128 through that tech demo at Space World in 2000. And they intended to make a follow-up to Mario 64. And then eventually we did get Mario Sunshine, which never got a direct sequel. And I think that's because it was a little bit divisive. Then what do we get next, right? We got Wii, we got Mario Galaxy, and we got Mario Galaxy 2. Then on Wii U, we got Mario 3D World, but what was on the 3DS? It was a brother game. It was Mario 3D Land. So those games kind of paired together. Then we got the Switch. We got Mario Odyssey. So following that pattern, Mario Odyssey 2 would be the logical next step. But again, as I pointed out at the start of this show, trying to predict what Nintendo's going to do is a fool's errand.